Let me ask you something. Have you ever stayed awake long after the lights were off, whispering your daughter's name into the silence, hoping God was listening? You carry her everywhere, in your thoughts at work, in your prayers while driving, even in those quiet moments folding laundry. The love you hold is so deep, sometimes it feels heavy enough to break you. And yet, inside that weight, there's a holy sign. It's not just worry, it's heaven tugging at your heart. I want you to hear me clearly. This isn't another ordinary night. You are standing at the doorway of a turning point written long ago for your daughter. Stay with me until the very end, because what I'm about to share may be the missing piece you've been praying for all this time. I need you to hold on to this. God has not forgotten your daughter, not for one moment. What you're sensing in your spirit right now, that stirring, that restlessness, it's not random. It's the sound of heaven preparing a shift. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That promise isn't just for strangers in a book. It's for your child. It's for your family. And here's why this moment matters. Before this video ends, you'll see the clear signs that her season is turning. And more than that, you'll discover how you can walk beside her, not as a bystander, but as the chosen guide God placed in her life. The sacred turning point for your daughter. Let me slow this moment down for you, because what I'm about to say may sound simple, but it could change the way you look at your daughter forever. Every child has a season where something shifts. It's not always dramatic, like a big announcement or a sudden miracle. Sometimes it's quiet, almost hidden, but the shift is real. It's what I call the sacred turning point. Think of it like this. When a seed breaks underground, you don't see the sprout right away. But deep in the soil, life is pushing forward. That's what's happening with your daughter. On the surface, it might look like she's just moody, distant, or struggling. But underneath, heaven is stirring a new chapter. I'll give you an example. A mother once told me how her teenage daughter had suddenly pulled away, spending more time in her room, not opening up like before. At first, she thought she was losing her child, but instead of panicking, she leaned into prayer and patience. Weeks later, the girl confessed she had been wrestling with her faith and her identity. That quiet season of distance was actually the soil of transformation. The turning point wasn't rebellion, it was preparation. And maybe right now, you're in that exact place. You see behaviors that scare you, silence, attitude, even tears she doesn't explain. And your heart says, something's wrong. But what if, instead, something sacred is unfolding? Here's the small lesson I want you to hold. Don't confuse resistance with rejection. Sometimes the very moments that feel like she's pushing you away are the times she needs your steady presence the most. Your role isn't to fix every detail. It's to be the safe ground where her roots can stretch. Now, let's get practical. How do you know if you're standing at this turning point? Here are a few signs. She starts asking deeper questions, maybe about faith, about her future, or about why life feels unfair. You notice sudden changes in mood or habits that seem out of rhythm, but they carry a quiet intensity. She becomes more protective of her time, her space, her friendships. You sense in your own spirit a restlessness, like God is nudging you to pay closer attention. And most importantly, your prayers feel heavier, like heaven is pulling you into intercession. If even one of these sounds familiar, then I want you to pause and take a breath. Because it means you're not imagining things. You're standing at the edge of her sacred turning point. And let me tell you, the way you respond here matters more than you think. If you lean into fear, you'll try to control her. If you lean into faith, you'll learn to guide her. That difference can mark the line between conflict and connection. So here's your takeaway. Your daughter doesn't need a perfect parent. She needs a present one. She doesn't need you to have all the answers. She needs you to carry her questions to God alongside her. That is what will make this turning point sacred, not just stressful. And this leads us right into the next part. How do you actually walk with her in this season without losing yourself or losing her trust? That's where we're heading next. Because once you recognize the turning point, the real journey begins. How to walk with her in this season. Now that you can recognize the turning point, the question becomes, how do you walk with her through it? Because let's be honest, this is the part that feels the heaviest. You don't want to smother her. You don't want to let go too soon. And deep down, you're asking yourself, what if I say the wrong thing and push her further away? I want you to breathe. Because walking with your daughter in this season isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up in ways that remind her, I am not alone. My parent sees me. My parent is for me. Let me tell you a story. A father once shared how his college-age daughter was drifting away. She stopped attending church, stopped answering his calls as often, and when they did talk, the conversations felt shallow. His first instinct was to lecture her, to bring her back. But then he made a different choice. Instead of preaching, he began sending her one short text every week. Just wanted you to know, I love you, and I'm proud of you. At first, she barely responded. Months later, she admitted those texts had been her lifeline in a season of confusion. What felt small to him had been sacred to her. That's what walking with her looks like. It's not about grand speeches. It's about presence. Here are 3 simple but powerful steps you can take right now. 1. Recognize. Pay attention to the signs without panic. Notice her mood shifts, her new questions, her need for space. Don't rush to fix. Just notice. 2. Support. Speak life into her daily. Even if she rolls her eyes, your words matter. A simple, I believe in you, or I love you no matter what, can echo in her heart longer than you realize. 3rd, release. Trust that God is holding her more tightly than you ever could. This doesn't mean giving up. It means letting your prayers do the heavy lifting when your hands cannot. Now, here's a small lesson to hold on to. Your daughter doesn't measure your love by how many solutions you offer. She measures it by how safe she feels bringing her struggles to you. If she knows she won't be judged, she will come back to your voice again and again. Maybe you've already felt the tension of getting this wrong. Maybe there was a time you snapped at her or pressed too hard and saw her shut down. Don't let guilt keep you stuck there. Every day is a chance to walk differently, with more grace and more patience. And remember, this season will not last forever. The questions she's asking, the distance she's creating, even the tears you don't fully understand, they are shaping her into who she was meant to become. And your steady hand, your faithful prayers, your calm presence, those are the tools God is using to guide her. So don't give up. Don't withdraw. Don't assume your silence is safer than your presence. Keep showing up, because one day she will look back and realize you were the anchor when everything else felt like shifting sand. And that brings us to the heart of this message. Because once you've walked with her in this season, the the question becomes, what will God do with your faithfulness? That's where we'll go next. The promise of joy and restoration that He's already writing into your family's story. So here we are. You've seen how the sacred turning point isn't something to fear. It's something to recognize. And you've learned how to walk with your daughter in this season, not with pressure or panic, but with presence and prayer. But let me remind you of this. God is not finished with her story, and He's not finished with your story as a parent either. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've hidden, every moment you've stayed present when it would have been easier to give up, heaven has counted it all. And here's my invitation. Don't walk this journey alone. If you feel the weight of this message in your heart, I want you to take one bold step right now. Drop your daughter's name in the comments below. Add one word about what you're praying for her. Peace, strength, healing, faith. Our community will lift her name up with you this week. Because together, we are not just parents. We are intercessors. We are the bridge between God's promise and our children's future. And I believe, with all my heart, that the best chapters for your daughter and for you are just beginning.